The parachute drifted through the smoke like a fragile white flower falling into chaos. Jake followed it with laser focus, ignoring every blaring warning inside his cockpit. Dan tightened formation beside him, their planes slicing through the dark like twin guardians. But in Jake's chest, something had already shifted. This wasn't a rescue. This wasn't a protocol mission. This was personal. Falcon wasn't just some fallen legend. She had trained him, pushed him, believed in him. She had taught him how to fly in weather that could kill lesser pilots. She had called him Rookie for the first 6 months and Eagle when he finally proved himself. She had been everything a leader should be, and now she was falling toward an ocean she had already escaped once. The wind dragged her parachute west, whipping it violently. Jake saw her body hanging limp, turning slowly in the freezing air. He prayed she was conscious. He prayed she was breathing. Dan broke the silence. "Jake, we can't just land in the Atlantic. We need a rescue chopper." "SOP requires. SOP can shove it," Jake snapped. "They left her for dead once. I'm not trusting them with her again." Dan didn't argue. He only whispered, "Then we improvise." But improvising at 32,000 feet with low visibility, multiple hostiles still in the region, and a critically injured pilot falling into open waters wasn't strategy. It was madness. Yet both men had already chosen madness. Jake dove lower, pushing the jet past limits. Alarms screamed. He shut them off. His breathing deepened, matching the rhythm Falcon drilled into him years ago. In through the nose. Hold. Out slow. Keep your pulse steady. A calm pilot is a living pilot. A faint splash was visible below Falcon hitting the water. Jake's stomach dropped. The ocean swallowed her instantly. "Falcon!" He yelled uselessly, voice cracking through the radio. Dan cut ahead to scan the region. "We've got movement behind, damn it, Jake. We've got more drones incoming. 3 of them. Maybe 4. Jake clenched his jaw so tightly he tasted blood. "Cover me." Dan understood. "Always." Jake leveled out, opened his cockpit storage, and pulled a sealed emergency flotation pack. It wasn't meant for this. It wasn't meant to be thrown at supersonic speeds. But Falcon wasn't meant to die twice either. He swooped lower, almost touching the waves. Salt water sprayed against the underside of his jet. He craned his neck, searching desperately, and then he saw her barely. A head, bobbing. One arm struggling weakly. She wasn't dead. Not yet. "Falcon, hold on." He whispered as if she could hear him. He hit the release button. The flotation pack shot out, landed near her, and automatically deployed into a raft. Meanwhile, behind him, Dan broke the night sky open with missiles. Fireballs bloomed like dying stars. Drones spiraled down in flaming arcs, but for every drone Dan took out, 2 more appeared. Jake circled lower, unable to leave her. His heart thundered. "Elena, grab the raft." A weak arm lifted. She reached, missed, tried again. Then she collapsed, half floating, half sinking. Jake's breath shattered. No, 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 no. He dove even lower and clipped the ocean with the jet's tail. The entire plane shuddered violently. Dan's panicked voice crackled in. "Jake, you'll kill yourself." But Jake didn't care. Falcon wasn't losing this fight. Not now. A shadow moved in the water. Falcon's hand finally snagging the raft. The inflatable boat rocked as her body flopped inside. Jake let out a gasping breath that felt like fire. "Dan, she's in the raft." "Then get the hell out of there. We're surrounded." Jake pulled upward just as another drone fired. Heat streaked past his left wing. His jet shook but held. He climbed altitude, his mind racing. They needed extraction. They needed backup. But calling command now would expose Falcon's survival. And if Falcon was telling the truth, that the same people who declared her dead were the ones hunting her, then calling command was delivering her straight back to her killers. Dan's voice softened, losing its military edge. Jake. She said they erased her. She said command wanted her gone. What if they really did? Jake answered hollowly, then we're the only ones she has. Below, the raft drifted like a tiny dot in an ocean of secrets. Falcon's body lay motionless, her chest barely rising. He knew they had minutes. Maybe less. Dan, Jake said, breathing hard. I'm ditching. I'm going down there. Dan swore. Jake, that's suicide. Then I'll die with her. Silence hit the radio like a slap. Dan understood. He always did, but before Jake could redirect his jet for a crash landing, Falcon's voice returned through the comms so faint it sounded like wind. Eagles. Don't die. Like that. Jake froze. Falcon? He whispered static then her voice again, stronger this time, threaded with pain but unmistakably hers. I didn't survive 8 years. To watch you throw your career away. Because of me. Jake couldn't stop the tears burning behind his eyes. You're alive. That's all that matters. No, she whispered. What matters is what I brought back. Her breathing turned ragged, broken. A woman who had endured torture, captivity, and silence was finally at the end of her endurance. Jake steadied his voice. What did you bring, Alina? A long pause. A storm rattled across the comms. Then she said a single word. Proof. Jake's heart pounded. Proof of what? But before she could answer, Dan screamed. Jake, move. Missile lock on you. Jake jerked the jet sideways. A missile flashed past and exploded nearby. The shockwave smacked him back into his seat. Dan fired back, streaks of light cutting through the darkness. But there were too many. Whoever was chasing Falcon was throwing everything at them. Jake's voice hardened. We need to lose them, now. Dan replied, there's a storm cell to the east. Big one. Jake exhaled. Perfect. Only fighter pilots would call a violent Atlantic storm perfect. They angled toward the black mass of thunderclouds, lightning flickering inside like a monster breathing. Behind them, the drones followed silent. Relentless as they entered the storm, turbulence hit like fists. Jake's jet bounced, shook, and groaned. Dan's jet wobbled beside him. Stay tight. Jake yelled, I'm trying not to die. Dan shot back. Lightning sliced past the canopy. Wind slammed into them. The world turned into chaos, the kind only Falcon used to call the real sky. Jake fought the controls. Each gust threatened to flip him upside down. But through all of it, he kept scanning the radar, waiting for one miracle dot, and it came. Blip after blip disappeared behind them as the storms. Electromagnetic chaos scrambled the drone systems. They scattered, lost tracking, then vanished from radar entirely. Dan laughed breathlessly. Jake, they're gone. You madman. It actually worked. Jake didn't celebrate. His stomach had twisted into a knot of dread. They escaped, but Falcon was still drifting below them in freezing waters. With enemies still searching for her, Jake steadied his voice. We dive again when the storm clears. We get her. We find land. And we go dark. Dan swallowed. You mean desert? Disobey every protocol? Abandon base? Jake responded without hesitation. Yes, because Falcon trusted us. She called us. Not command. The storm raged around them, shaking the jets like toys. Lightning flashed, briefly illuminating the ocean below, endless, monstrous. Indifferent. Jake looked down into that darkness and whispered to himself, Alina, don't you dare give up. Minutes dragged by. Hours felt like decades. Jake circled until his fuel gauge dipped dangerously low. Every second was a countdown to losing her again. Then the storm quieted, revealing patches of moonlit water. Dan scanned his radar. "I've got her raft. Bearing 172, 2 miles. Jake didn't wait. He dove instantly. There floating, drifting, barely moving, the orange raft rocked gently. Dan hovered above, using his jet's lights to illuminate the area. Jake's radio crackled. "Command to Eagle Flight. Report status. We lost your trackers for 30 minutes. Respond immediately." Jake killed his radio. Completely. Dan hesitated, then did the same. There was no turning back now. Jake radioed Dan on a private channel. "We ditch on the nearest land. Islands northeast. We carry her with us," Dan whispered. "We're deserters now." Jake corrected. "We're rescuers." As they approached, Jake lowered altitude again. Falcon lay motionless, face pale, lips blue, eyes closed. Jake whispered, "I've got you." A rogue wave smacked the raft, flipping it. Falcon's body rolled into the water. Jake's heart stopped. No. He dove so low his plane nearly scraped the waves. Dan yelled curses behind him. Then he saw a hand emerge, weak, trembling, but reaching. Jake didn't think. He opened the cockpit canopy mid-air, exposing himself to the storm winds. Then shouted, "Jake, you idiot." Jake balanced the jet, leaned out, reached down. Falcon's eyes fluttered open for a fraction of a second. Those same fierce eyes from 8 years ago. Jake shouted over the wind, "Take my hand." Her fingers slipped, grabbed, then locked around his wrist. Jake used every ounce of strength he had, pulling her up, inch by inch, against gravity, wind, and fear. Dan guided him, voice shaking. "Steady, steady." Jake groaned, muscles burning. Falcon coughed seawater, whispering something he couldn't hear. Finally, with one last pull, he hauled her into the cockpit. She collapsed against him, freezing, trembling, yet alive. Jake shut the canopy. "I've got you. I've finally got you." Her voice was barely audible. "You came," he whispered, "always." Falcon's head rested against his shoulder. Her pulse was weak, fading. Jake held her tighter. "Don't sleep. Stay awake." Her lips trembled. "I brought it all back. The files. The recordings. The proof they betrayed the feed."
They said she died 8 years ago. Not disappeared, not missing dead. A memorial service, a folded flag. A military citation engraved with her name. Captain Alina Reyes, United States Air Force, call sign Falcon. Her family grieved. Her little brother never stopped wearing the bracelet she gave him. Her father kept the living room light on every night, even though he never admitted why. And her mother, a quiet woman with silver hair and trembling hands, still set an extra plate at the dinner table because she believed, deep down, that some bonds don't break just because the world says they should. But the Air Force file was clear. Falcon died during a covert extraction mission overseas, a mission so classified that her body was never returned. They told her squadron she was caught in an explosion. They told her family she felt no pain. They told the world she was a hero, but they lied. 8 years later, at 32,000 feet over the North Atlantic, 2 F-22 pilots, Lieutenant Jake Mercer and Captain Dan Rourke, were cutting through freezing skies on a routine escort operation. Their lives were quiet, predictable, almost boring. But boredom had never lasted long for fighter pilots. And on that night, the sky hid a secret no one was prepared to hear. Jake checked his radar screen, tapping a finger against the glass. "Ghost radar again," he muttered. "Third time tonight." Dan's voice crackled through the comms. Probably another fishing trawler bouncing signals. "Relax." But Jake didn't relax. No transponder. Altitude 31,900. Speed unregistered. Formation tight. That's not a trawler, man. Dan sighed. If it's hostile, Command would have warned us. Unless Command doesn't know. Jake shot back. And then, in the middle of static, a voice slid into their ears, raspy, strained, but unmistakably trained. Eagle 1. Do you copy? Jake's heart slammed against his ribs. He froze. Dan whispered, "What the hell was that?" The voice returned, weaker this time. "This is Falcon. Requesting immediate escort protocol. Repeat, this is Falcon." Jake's hands shook. He had seen that name carved on a memorial. Falcon was a ghost, a legend, a fallen hero. He leaned closer to his radio. "Identify yourself." Static. A long, broken breath. Then, "Falcon. Alive. Need extraction." The radio cut off as if someone ripped the cable out. Dan swore loudly, panic slipping into his tone. "Jake, Falcon is dead. 8 years dead. I was at her damn funeral." Jake couldn't speak. His throat tightened around a single truth that neither man could explain. Voices don't return from coffins. But this one had. A red alert flashed across their HUDs. Radar lock. Something was behind them. Something fast. Jake squinted. Through the clouds, a dark shape emerged, sleek, patched, scarred, flying like a machine held together by desperation. Not enemy tech. Not us, tech. Something in between. And then he saw it. The faded chipped paint on its side-end emblem. A falcon with outstretched wings. "Her emblem," Jake whispered. "Dan, that's her bird." Dan's voice cracked. "Impossible." The aircraft staggered in the air as if the pilot inside was barely conscious. It flicked right, dipped left, then steadied itself with a maneuver that only a top-tier pilot could execute. Alina Reyes had been famous for moves like that. The Falcon flip, they called it. The kind of maneuver that shouldn't have been possible for human reaction time. Jake swallowed hard. If she's alive, then where has she been for 8 years? The answer came too soon. A second, larger shape pierced the clouds. A Predator drone, but not American. Its turret locked onto Falcon's aircraft. Jake snapped his throttle forward. Hostile and bound. Break formation now. Dan surged ahead with him. Engines roaring, afterburners igniting. The sky lit up in streaks of fire as the drone launched a missile. Falcon's aircraft swayed, struggling to dodge. She was too slow. Jake dove instinct, training, fear, all merging into one violent motion. His jet sliced between Falcon and the drone. His flare system fired automatically, drawing the missile away at the last second. It exploded behind him, rattling his entire jet. "Falcon." Jake yelled into the comms. "If you can hear me, stay low and follow my lead." For a moment, nothing. Then a faint breath, a cough, and a whisper, "Copy." Don exhaled sharply. "Holy hell, that's her." Jake didn't respond. His chest was too tight with disbelief, confusion, and something almost like hope. Another drone emerged. Then another. Whoever was hunting Falcon wasn't giving up. Falcon's jet pulled beside him, through the cracked cockpit canopy. Jake could barely make out the shape of a person, a woman with short, uneven hair, her face smudged with ash or dust. But her eyes, even from a distance, he recognized the fire. The same fire everyone used to talk about. The fire that made her the best of the best, he whispered, almost reverently, "Alina." Another missile streaked toward them. This time, Falcon reacted first. Her battered aircraft twisted sideways, defying aerodynamics, slicing through the air like a blade. The missile missed by inches. Don gasped. "No one flies like that, except Falcon." Jake finished. The air battle erupted 3 jets against a swarm of drones engineered to kill. Jake and Dan fought with precision, wings flashing like steel predators in moonlight. Falcon fought like a ghost returned from hell, using moves that left even Jake speechless. But even ghosts break. Eagle One, Falcon's strained voice cut through. Fuel critical. Systems failing. They're tracking me. They always track me. Jake wanted to ask who. He wanted to understand how she survived, why she was being hunted, why her death had been faked, why she called them only now after 8 years. But she didn't give him time. Her aircraft sputtered. A wing shuddered violently, barely attached. Dan cursed. She's not gonna hold. Jake, she's going down. No, she isn't. Jake snarled, locking missiles on the lead drone. Not again. He fired. The missile hit dead center. Fire tore across the sky. Shrapnel rained like burning confetti. Falcon's aircraft dipped. Then stabilized again. But Jake could see the truth: the plane was dying. The pilot inside was too. Her voice returned, softer, almost fading. I knew command wouldn't answer. They wanted me gone. Erased. But you too. You were my boys. My rookies. You never gave up on me. Jake's vision blurred. Falcon, stop talking like that. We're getting you home. A broken laugh. Home. I haven't said that word in a long time. The last drone approached, sleek, silent, deadly. Falcon tried to dodge, but her engine backfired in a burst of black smoke. Jake pulled ahead, desperate, frantic. Falcon, eject. Now. But instead of ejecting, she whispered something he couldn't comprehend. They made me disappear. But I escaped. And I stole something they'll kill the entire sky to keep quiet. Jake felt his blood run cold. What did you steal? The drone locked onto her. She was too weak to move. Falcon whispered, the truth. And then everything exploded. A shockwave slammed into Jake's jet, flipping him sideways. Dan screamed something into the radio, but Jake didn't hear it. All he saw was fire-bright, violent, soul-breaking fire where Falcon's aircraft had been. His heartbeat stopped. His breath vanished. He whispered her name, like a prayer, like a curse. Alina. But through the burning smoke and falling debris, parachute shot out small, torn, but alive. Dan choked out a laugh. She's out. Jake's seed's alive. Jake's entire body trembled. We're getting her. Even if command tries to stop us, because now nothing made sense. Falcon had been alive for 8 years, hunted, hiding, fighting, and the people who were supposed to protect her had declared her dead. Why? And what truth had she stolen that was worth killing her twice for? Jake angled his jet downward, eyes locked on the falling parachute. Whatever Falcon had been running from was now coming for them, and the sky above the Atlantic was about to become the battleground for a secret no one was meant to uncover.